Vasudevaya, Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya, Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. So, Hare Krishna, everybody like to seek the blessings of Radha Madhav, Radha Shyam Sundar Krishna Balaram, Gauritai, Srila Prabhupada, Guru Maharaj, and the assembled devotees, and also the Devatas, wonderful devotees of the Lord. To continue with the series, yesterday we looked at Indradev, and before that it was Ganesh, and Durga Mata, Lord Shiva, Lord Brahma. So today is Suryadev, who we worship, of course, in the form of the sun. In the UK, we don't see Suryadev very often. So whenever he comes out, everybody's out in the street paying obeisances. So let's have a quick look at his life. It's quite a lot actually to cover. So let's, I'm not sure if we'll do it in one session, but hopefully we will. The sun god Suryadev embodies a fraction of Lord Krishna's opulence and is a very powerful jiva or living entity. Therefore, the sun god can be worshipped not as a supreme personality of Godhead, but as his powerful representative. We worship the sun god by chanting the Gayatri mantra. So Gayatri mantra has many meanings. One of them is glorification of Suryadev. Surya, the sun god, controls the affairs of the entire universe, especially in regard to heat, light, seasonal changes, and so on. He's one of the atmospheric devatas. These devatas are powerful, like the Vayu and Indra. They're very powerful devatas. He's considered a powerful jiva, an expansion of Narayan. It's sometimes called Surya Narayan. So this is, again, gets a little confusing sometimes because he's known as Surya Narayan. So he's an expansion of the Supreme Lord, but actually he's a jiva, like you and me. All living entities, including demigods, human beings, animals, birds, insects, reptiles, creepers, and trees, depend upon the heat and light given by the sun god from the sun planet. So without the sun, we would struggle. For example, in the Scandinavian countries, I think Norway in particular, there certain times of the year, you have sun literally 24 hours. And certain part in the winter time, the sun will be hardly there. And it's regarded that a lot of suicides take place during the winter months because of the lack of sunshine. Furthermore, it is because of the sun's presence that all living entities can see. Surya is the life and soul of this universe. There are innumerable universes for which a sun god is life and soul, just as Supreme Personality God is a life and soul of the entire creation. So this is a verse which is interesting. Oma Krishnin Rajashavarto Mano Niveshyam Amritam Mantrayam Cha Hiranyaya Hina Savitarathena Devoryati Bhuvnani Pashyam. Throughout the dusky fermentation advancing, laying to rest the immortal and mortal, born in his golden chariot, he cometh, Savitar, God, who looks on every creature. So this is sort of his omniscience, in fact, in this universe anyway. The above Vedic mantra of him is the Rig Ved in the praise of Surya, the sun god. Suryadeva, also known as Surya or Fra Atit, is the main solar deity in Sanatana Dharma. He's also referred to as the sun. The main deity of the Navagrahas, or the 9 planets of Vedic astrology as well. He is also considered as one of the Navagrahas. Surya is often portrayed as riding on a chariot driven by 7 horses, or alternatively 1 horse with 7 heads. These 7 horses represent the colors of the rainbow, and also the 7 chakras in the subtle human body. So there's loads of chakras. We looked at one of the chakras, the top chakra, which is Ganpati is in charge of. Sometimes shown with 2 hands, holding a lotus in each. Sometimes with 4 hands, holding a lotus chakra gada. So similar to Lord Vishnu. there is. And this is an example of chakra and conch, mace, flower, Godfrey's blessing. And then we got the 7 horses, and we've got his chariot driver, I forgot his name, Arundhati, I think. Suryadeva in Vedic Dharma is considered to be an eye of the Virat Rup, or the Vishwarup, the universal form of Lord Krishna himself. Incidentally, Surya is worshipped by people, saints, even asuras or demons. Certain groups of Rakshasas called the Yatudhanas were staunch followers of the sun god. Surya Devata is regarded as the supreme being among the followers of the Shaura sect, which has now become very small and is almost endangered. The Shauras worship him as one of the 5 major forms of God. So that those 5 we discussed, that's also coincides with the Smarta Brahmins: Vishnu, Shiva, Durga Mataji, Ganesh, and Surya. Surya is worshipped in many forms, but 2 of the most common forms of deity are Arka and Mitra. Surya in the form of Arka is worshipped mostly in north and eastern India. The very grand and elaborate Konarak temple in Orissa, the Uttarak and Lorak in Uttar Pradesh, the Balak temple in Rajasthan, and the Sun temple at Modhera, Gujarat, are all dedicated to his form of Ark. Yet another temple, the Bal Ark Surya Mandir, built in Uttar Pradesh in 10th century, was destroyed in the 14th during the Turkish invasion. Mitra, so as a second ways worship, is all often found in Gujarat. Mitra literally means friend. Lord Surya is hailed by 108 names, and the most common of them, Aditya, so one of the sons of Aditi, Adidev, Angaraka, Arka, Bhaga, Dharma Dvija, Datri, Duma Ketu, Indra Jay, and Indra is interesting, Jay, Maitreya, Prabhakar, Ravi, Savitri, Soma, Teja, Vaishravana. Okay, so his family. He had 3 queens, namely Sharanya, and got different names, Ragi, Prabha. Sharanya was the mother of Vaivasvata Manu. So that's the current Manu of this age, or Satyavrat, the present Manu. The twins, Yama, so we got the god of death, and his sister Yami, and that is Yamuna. So Yamraj and Yamuna. Later, she also gave birth to Ashwini twins, who were the divine horsemen and physicians to the Devas. And these, I think, are the same. I'm not sure if they are actually. Anyway, being unable to bear the extreme radiance emanated by Surya, Sharanya created a superficial shadow of herself called Chaya. She asked her to act as Surya's wife. In course of time, Chaya gave birth to 2 sons named Savani Manu and Shani. Shani, the planet Saturn, and 2 daughters, Tapti and Vishti. Surya's other wife, Ragi, gave birth to her son, Revanta and Revata. Suryadev's sons, Shani and Yama, are the judges of human life and karma, while Shani Dev bestows positive or negative results for one's deed committed during one's life. Yam grants those results after one's death. So that's quite interesting. Shani will give it during this life, Yam after this life. In Ramayana, Surya is said to be the father of King Sugriv. Sugriv was the one who helped Ram defeat the terrible demon Ravan. He imparts training to Hanuman to help him lead the Vanara Sena, or army of monkeys. Interestingly, Lord Ram himself is a descendant of Surya. He is Suryavamsi. that is hailed from the dynasty of the Suryavamsh. Surya bears great significance in the Mahabharata as well. According to this epic, Kunti received the Diksha for a mantra from a short-tempered sage called Durvasa. She was given the boon that whenever she chanted this mantra, she would be able to summon a deva and also bear a child by him. Without realizing its seriousness, Kunti tested the mantra, summoning Surya. As Surya was forced to fulfill the obligations of the mantra, she miraculously begot a child from him whilst actually retaining her virginity. Not able to bear the thought of becoming an unwed mother, Princess Kunti was compelled to abandon her son Karn, who later grew up to be one of the greatest ever warriors and a central character in the Battle of Kurukshetra. So he's a very interesting personality, Karn. The first book of the Mahabharata does not mention Surya as one of the Adityas. However, he may be regarded as the joint strength of all the 12 solar deities, namely Datri, Mitra, Aryaman, Shakra, Varun, Amshva, Vivasvat, Usha, Savitri, Twashtri, Vishnu. There you go. That's where Kunti Mata is summoning Suryadeva, who comes and she's shocked. What are you doing here? Surya, the sun god, controls the affairs of the entire universe, especially in regard to heat, light, seasonal changes, so on. He's considered an expansion of Narayan, sometimes called Surya Narayan. He represents the three Vedas, Rig, Yajur, and Sama. Therefore, he's also known as Trayi Maya, the form of Lord Narayan. Surya is also called Daikara, Daimeka, or Ganapati, the king of the planets. The sun god has expanded himself in 12 divisions. Thus, he controls the 6 seasonal changes and causes winter, summer, rain, and so on. The 6 seasons are spring, summer, monsoon. So this is mainly going to be applicable in Bharat, where Gita is, autumn, pre-winter and winter. Here we only have 2 seasons, summer and winter. And the summer is about 2 days. The sun god, who is Narayan or Vishnu, the soul of all worlds, is situated in outer space between the upper and lower portions of the universe. Passing through the 12 months on the wheel of time, the sun comes in touch with 12 different signs of the zodiac and assumes 12 different names according to these signs. The aggregate of these 12 months is called a samvatsara, or entire year. According to lunar calculations, 2 fortnights, one of the waxing and one of the waning moon, form 1 month. That same period, 1 day, 1 night, for the planet Pitilok. So Pitilok, the time is huge. According to the stellar calculations, a month equals 2 1/4 constellations. While the sun travels for 2 months, a season passes, and therefore the seasonal changes are considered part of the body of the year. The entire color chakra, or wheel of time, established on the wheel of the sun god's chariot. This wheel is known as Samvatsara. And the 7 horses pulling the chariot of the sun are known as Gayatri, Brahati, Ushni, Jagati, Trishtup, Nushtup, and Pankti. They are harnessed by a demigod known as Arundev. So Arundev is a chariot driver, also known as Arundhati, to a yoke 900,000 yojanas wide. So it's really huge, huge circumference. The 7 horses represent the 7 colors of the visible light, 7 days of the week. The chariot carries Aditya Dev, the sun god. Always staying in front of the sun god and offering their prayers are 60,000 sages known as Valikyas. So we've come across them in the Bhagavatam. And their job is to protect us from the heat of the sun. So they really take all the heat and the unfiltered rays. They actually protect us, protect humanity, by being always in front of the sun, and they're reciting prayers in glorification of Suryadev. while he's riding the chariot across the universe. There are 14 Gandharvas, Apsaras, and other demigods who are divided into 7 parties who perform ritualistic activities every month to worship the super soul through the sun god, according to different names. So it's very complex. So this is an idea of the chariot of the sun god. Thus, the sun god travels through the universe for a distance of 95,100,000 yojanas. Wow, that's 760,800,000 miles at a speed of 16,000 miles at every moment. In Vedic astrology, Surya is regarded as slightly volatile due to his nature of being too radiant and emitting too much heat. The sun thus represents the soul, vitality, courage, willpower, authority, royalty, and so on. His position is exalted in Mesha or Aries and takes a backward position in Tula or Libra. In Vedic horoscopes, the best location for Surya is considered to be right overhead on the 10th house and on the 1st, 5th, and 9th houses. So this is more for the astronomers. Surya is the lord of Kritika, Uttar Falguni, and Uttar Ashad. He is often associated with red, coppers, and metallic colors, and his gemstone is ruby. Surya blesses Baal Hanuman. So this is where Suryadeva is known to be strong and powerful and invincible. However, he too once was subdued by Hanuman, the greatest devotee and also the humble sevak of Ram. So he had an interesting episode with Suryadeva during his childhood. Yes, Nariman. Oh, okay. Thank you, Nariman. Appreciate you joining us. Hanuman leapt up to the skies and, rather playful and mischievous monkey in his Balvasta, childhood. Hanuman leapt up to the sky and started chasing Surya, mistaking him for a ripe mango. He kept pursuing the sun, wanting to eat what he thought was a delicious fruit. So this is Hanuman, because he was incarnation of combined of Shiva and Vayu, very powerful. Later, when he realized that Surya was the all-knowing teacher, Hanuman raised his body and positioned himself to orbit the sun, around the sun, also requesting him to accept him as a disciple. But Surya refused, saying that he could never be in one place, as he had to constantly traverse around the world. And undeterred, Hanuman continued to pursue Surya and kept pleading persistently. Surya then agreed and passed on his knowledge to Hanuman. In this way, Surya emerged as Karma Shakshi, the eternal witness of all deeds. He also gave Hanuman 2 siddhis, namely Lagima and Garima, which enabled him to take the smallest form and the largest form, respectively, at will, which is what Hanuman did often in order to rescue Sita Devi. Surya synonym Ravi is the root of the word Ravivara or Sunday, Ravivar, in the Vedic calendar. In both Bharatiya and Greek Roman nomenclature for days of the week, the sun is dedicated, the Sunday is dedicated to the sun, and Monday is to the moon. Surya temples are often found in many parts of Bharat. More common than Surya temples are artwork related to Surya, which are found in all types of temples of various traditions. Some of the major temples are as follows. So we have the Konark Sun Temple, which is in Orissa, very close to Jagannath Puri. So when we visit Jagannath Puri, we're able to go to this wonderful. It's no longer being in nobody's worshipped in Orissa. This is of archaeological science now. It's not an active temple as such, but you can still see some incredible the architecture of the old days is there. Very, very intricate and sculptures in the body of the temple itself. And this is an idea. This is the main temple here. It's constructed in a very scientific way as well. When you go there, you take a guide and they'll explain to you exactly how scientific this temple, scientifically built this temple was. Shame it's no longer in use. Over 5,000 years ago, Samba, the son of Krishna, suffered from leprosy. The sage Katak asked him to worship Surya to cure his disease. Samba undertook penance for 12 years near the shore of Chandrabha, and then built Konark and other temples as well. So there's another temple, Multan Sun Temple, known as the Aditya Sun Temple. Is located in Punjab, or in the Pakistan side. The original Multan Sun Temple is said to have been built by Samba. So again, Samba has been involved. Must have a close relationship with him. Before the invasion, so there was an invasion by the Moguls who plundered all the wealth. But the deity was at one point covered with gold and gems, 2 red rubies for its eyes. Must have been sort of opulent, amazing. There's another temple in, this must be, okay, Biranchi Narayan Temple in Puguda, in Orissa, where the main deities, Suryadeva is shown with 7 horses and 1 wheel on the left. Yeah, he's got the 1 wheel so that he can cross the universe. It's very interesting. Travels on 1 wheel. And then there's a temple in Gujarat, Sun Temple, Modhera, created in 1026 by King Bhimdev of the Solanki dynasty. Impressive stone temple is located along the banks of the river Pushpavati, 100 kilometers from Ahmedabad. Though prayers are no more conducted in this temple, it still retains its early grandeur. According to the Skanda Purana and Brahman Purana, the regions surrounding Modhera are known as Dharmaranya. On the advice of sage Vashishta, Lord Ramachandra had come to this place to purify himself after killing Ravan. He stayed in a place called Moderak and performed a yagya there, after which he set up a village named Sitapur, which eventually became to be known as Modera. So interesting temple. The first rays of the sun fall on the deity of Surya at the appropriate times. Now temple is in ruins, unfortunately. There's another temple in Kashmir and Jammu and Kashmir called Matand, and in south as well. So pretty much all of Bharat, and in fact way beyond Bharat. There are temples found outside of India, which are dedicated to Suryadeva, such an important personality. In Kabul, I don't know if this temple is still sort of in existence there. In Nepal, there's temples, different artifacts all over the place. In China, there's even the Zoroastrians had some connection with Suryadeva. Many festivals, Makar Sankranti, which is very, very popular, dedicated to Suryadeva. And it's right at the beginning of spring, I think. Yes, Prabhupada.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
It's very interesting. It's nice to know that these Surya temples are so many all over in India. And you mentioned some are outside India, is it right?
Yes, that's right. Nepal, China.
But I can't, I'm sorry, but I don't think I've never visited any Surya temple in my life.
No.
And this, even in England, Is there any Surya temple in England?
No. The only
So
one we visited is Konarak in Orissa. It's a very interesting temple. Very, very interesting. Very elaborate in its scientifically done.
someday when I go India, I will visit one of the Surya temple. It's so nice to hear. Thank you.
It's worth visiting once.
Yeah. Yes, that's right. Thank you.
Chat is another.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Hindu festival in Surya's name, said to have started by Kern, held in Bihar and other places, even Mauritius. I'm not sure if Karuna, you've been to any festivals of Suryadeva. Samba Dashami, so Samba again, son of Krishna, so it has some strong connection with Suryadeva. Ratha Saptami, another festival that's held in honor of Surya. This day is also celebrated as Surya Jayanti, as it is believed that Lord Vishnu incarnated as Surya on this day. Ratha Saptami starts with purification bathe, followed by puja and other rituals. And then there's Aitar Puja, celebrated in Goa. Another festival is Kartik Puja. Many Hindus perform regular Suryopasana. So actually, I know many devotees who will rise early, and as the sun is rising, they would offer jal every day, marking their respect for Suryadeva and praying for his guidance. And like Hanuman wanted him as his spiritual master. So Suryadeva is actually enlightened personality, but he's also very powerful. And we seek his blessings, so we continue to worship Lord Krishna. So here he is, after having a bath early morning, the seeker has to offer jal or water to Surya, looking in his direction, paying salutations to the Lord. Surya is regarded as a manifestation of the Brahman, so he's often referred to as Surya Narayan. While an ill-placed position of the sun in a person's horoscope could indicate low self-esteem, lack of confidence, ill health, dependence, an overly strong placement of the sun could also trigger many negative qualities in the person concerned. So these, by doing these salutations, you're counteracting any negatives. The Bharatnatyam is dedication, includes poses that signify rays of sunlight beaming all throughout the universe. It's homage to Surya. Yoga, of course, you've got the Surya Narayan, Namaskar, Surya Namaskar. Very important. All yoga has been done since time immemorial, and it really gives the practitioner a lot of strength and flexibility. So it's a salutation to Suryadeva. And within Buddhism as well, Surya is worshipped. So I skipped quite a lot of the worship and the temple side of Suryadeva. How does Suryadeva fit within the Vaishnava concept? We respect him as a great devotee. He's a very powerful personality. Without him, pretty much life would be at a standstill. And we pay respects to him, thanking him for his amazing service to the Supreme Lord and to all the other souls. And we seek his blessing so that we can continue our journey towards the absolute truth. And he is one of the devotees of the absolute truth, so he can also assist us in our journey. Anything you read?
There's this famous sun temple in Konark in Orissa or Odisha, which is not functioning now. What used to be a functioning temple before, but now it's a tourist attraction. That's it, yeah. And I think a couple of days in the year, the sun actually.
Is this the one in Karnataka?
Yes.
Oh.
And I think a certain time of the day, I think the sun passes through from one side to the other.
Oh.
The rays pass through.
The rays pass through. Okay. Yeah. Thank you.
Scientifically done this one. Amazing. Okay, so we can stop there. Any questions, any comments, please? Okay, Suryadev ki jai. We like saying Suryadev ki jai, especially in the UK, because we don't see him very much. Hare Krishna.